Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Kardec Radio, where we are here to nourish our souls. I am Nora Brazil, the host of this program, Soothing Pills of Trust, based on the book Pills of Trust by Dr. Diaz de Cruz and Andre Moreira. I'm so grateful to be here today. We're all in the holiday spirits. It's just a beautiful time, right? And we can see it in each other's faces, or we're wearing a mask. We can tell with the eyes, right, that everybody's just kind of in a really happy, peppy mood despite of everything, right, friends? That's a blessing to be able to be at this spiritual level, right? To be able to still smile and find the positive, the beautiful, the loving, the kindness, and all the goodness in the middle of everything else. That's a beautiful gift that we are able to have. So in today's lesson, it's the health of the body and the soul, chapter 24. So let's ask the spirits to inspire us a little bit as we're going through. This is a very short lesson as well today, because it's really self-explanatory the way that Dr. Diaz de Cruz laid it out for us. But nevertheless, friends, it's good to ask the spirits to inspire us and to help us out. Dear Mother, Father, God, Creator, thank you so much for today, for tonight, another day. We're asking you, please bless us so that we understand the message today. Most importantly, that we're able to use it, to pass it on, to live it, to experience it, and to learn from it and grow. And so be it. All right, friends. So thinking about this, health of the body and the soul is so important now with the pandemic going on. I think this word has exponentially grown in our everyday today. We're so careful nowadays with our health, right? So what a chapter to really intake, and to be healthy, it's also a very individual, we can say, experience, especially when it comes to the source. We all have different experiences, so we're not here to say this is a sign of being healthy and this is not, right? We want to respect everybody's evolution, everybody's place in this timeline, right? As the Spirit's book reminds us, we're all in different time frames. So if anything, today's lesson is really to help us out, expand a little bit of what we can do, the tools that we can have to continue working on our health, right, of the body and the soul. And it's interesting, friends, because there was another chapter here in the book too, where he talked about the science of well-being, and in that chapter it reminded us that both our body, our soul, mind, and spirit, and all, we're so connected. So when one is good, the other one sees that. When one is a little bit affected, the other one's affected. They go hand in hand. So as we're looking through the 5 things that we're able to extract from this chapter, let's think about them both, of the body and of the soul. So here we have a little boy grabbing a little ornament, right? Look at Dr. Diaz de Cruz tells us the way we can expand our knowledge and our awareness is learn how to look at your life, right? So keeping the theme of the Christmas spirit, friends, imagine us when we're grabbing a little ornament. Have you ever done this? And then we see like the reflection of ourselves, right? So like the little boy here is grabbing, and when we see that reflection, we're looking at ourselves, right? So as we are going to decorate our Christmas tree today, right, we are going to intake each of these 5 elements and apply them to ourselves individually. And at the end, we're going to see what a beautiful tree that we can create. And if anything, friends, when we're thinking about healthy times, right, spending time with ourselves, with our families, friends, and so forth, socially distancing, or if you are already in a unit in your family, right? I've seen a lot of families that are putting up the Christmas tree. So that's a beautiful way to really uplift our health, our spirits, but at the same time we can reflect on how are we looking at our life. All right. So the first thing that the book says is notice the richness of your inner life expressed through conflicts. I'm gonna move my video on this side, friends, right? So look at this powerful word, the richness, right? Every time we think of a conflict, we always think we are in deficit, that we are being punished, that we are not being loved. But when we notice the richness of it, when we tell ourselves in our minds, in our bodies, in our souls, that a conflict is here to enrich our experience, automatically, right, we start to elevate ourselves. The next point is treat your needs with respect. So again, the whole theme we're already starting to see, right, as we're looking at our little ornament. When we think of a need, a lot of the times we see that as well as a very, very we can say, I don't know if the word is bad, friends, but something that's not good for us, right? Wow, I'm needing something, and Jesus didn't listen to my prayer. God didn't listen. Mother Mary, the Creator, the source, whatever it is that we are connected to, and so we start to feel like we are not wanted, or we start to lose respect. Sometimes when we look at our needs, we treat them ill, and we start talking to them, like, even our expressions, right? Our body language and everything starts to change. But when we look at a need and we start to see it with respect, everything starts to, again, change, right? It starts to transform. We start to see it different, and we know that, God doesn't want things to be destroyed. Things need to be transformed. So notice how this idea of us looking at our needs as a form of respect, we are already transforming ourselves. And what does that do in the long run? Again, not only are we adding an extra ornament to our tree, friends, but it's also creating in us a very healthy environment. The next thing is needs are balanced. Wow, right? Weighed through moral, affective, and personal commitments from the past. Okay? So our needs are balanced. So it's not only to respect them, but it's also to recognize that in our lives, everything is a balance, right? We are in a universe that is created in a very balanced way. We look at it science, we look at it spiritually, right? There is no going around it. So when we start to realize all of this and we start to understand it, right, all of a sudden we start to look at our lives with different eyes. It's like we're looking at our ornament, and then we start to see something different, right? And this idea of something that's from our commitments from the past, it's not a bad thing, friends. We've seen the spirits books, right? We know from question 1 to the end that the whole book is a huge to help us understand that these are the kinds of commitments that are here to help us, that are here to enable us to reach to that potential, to reach to that place, to walk in this journey. And so there's always balance. So once we start to, again, going back, it's almost like this one's very similar to the respect. We start to respect, we start to see the balance, understand it, right? It's not just one-sided. It is balanced, and things start to change for us. And part of this balance is to also respect those around us, right? The universe does not revolve around us. We are all connected. So that balance in itself of a visual can also reflect others in our lives and the purposes that we are here for each other. And we know, friends, that in all Andre Lewis's books, right, he really enlightened us in a sense, because we get to see how these relationships are working both in the other realm and here on earth, hand in hand. And so we see that balance. And so when we start to see that in our lives, things start to change up a little bit. The next one is treat others as extensions of ourselves and vice versa. And this little ornament is adorable in a way. It's just full of love. This is another way to say to love unconditionally, right? Because if we think of something that is part of us and is so much love, but if we see others as well, but even more specifically, we treat others, then all of a sudden we start to practice these concepts that are coming from a place of love, of care, of nurture, and in everything that we were created for. And imagine, friends, I don't know, now with COVID, a lot of people are probably finding themselves with difficulties in this, with this little ornament, because they might have, they might see that the only time that they're only spending, like, for instance, time with the family inside their home, and they're not realizing that we can still love, we can still connect to others differently. And sometimes those are the people that are right under our nose that we don't realize it, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, because that's what we're here for. We're here to learn, to grow, and we know that it's the same thing when others treat us with love, when they respect us, when they listen to us, right? It feels so amazing. Part of our whole well-being too is, as if we have an issue, if we have something and somebody acknowledges us, it feels good. It feels like we're loved. With just that feeling, friends, you can do the same thing for someone else. Well, we can. I'm included in here. So think about this ornament. As we're gonna place it on our Christmas tree, we give our love, right? We give our love to people. That's like the best remedy. We see, I was talking to a colleague, and this person had actual drug addictions and just a lot of problems in life, and finally this person had someone love this person, and that word, that experience just changed this person's life. And I said, there's so many people out there that if they had a little bit of love, their health would improve, at least something would happen, and it would be a boost, right? The last point is, with love and synchronicity, let's face ourselves, our personal responsibilities, and the sovereign laws. And I love this ornament because it is full of responsibility. And this could be the teacher in me, friends. We have to have that reminder. We have to understand, yes, we gotta love, we gotta nurture ourselves, we gotta be patient, but we have to remember that we have to also face ourselves. We have to be held accountable for our responsibilities. So this ornament is super special. It's very delicate, but it's full of strength. And if we're to look at it, you think about, where do I stand in all of this? Have I been facing myself lately? And how have I fulfilled my responsibilities, right? And I think that these times, regardless of where we stand, right, of what we believe, we don't believe, this not, the idea is that COVID did bring a time for us to pause. And so thinking about our health and thinking about where we are, a lot of our responsibilities in a sense have been shifting, so forth. And we know that people's health has also been synchronizing differently in a sense, right? Again, this is more of the soul, friends, right? It's not so much a scientific background or reasoning behind this, but we do know that if our mind and our souls are at peace, our bodies also start to emanate that, right? And of course, there are always going to be exceptions to this. And I know that host Sunshine has some shows on Sundays talking about Genesis, and there's a whole series there talking about actual healings and how Jesus did that. So that's another route that we can go. But in this particular set of healing. It was more of the inner healing, and how as we express ourselves inside, we heal ourselves inside, it starts to show on the outside, and it just makes things so much better. And thinking about COVID times, friends, right, to be cautious of where we're at, and again, everything's coming from the inside. So now I'm going to move myself here. This is our little tree, right? So we have built our Christmas tree, and I imagine, friends, have you ever sat there and just looked at the lights, and you just, wow, it's so beautiful as they're flashing, in that peace, that tranquility, right? That's the peace that we want to replicate in ourselves. And as we start to replicate, we start to do that, right? And another beautiful thing is, as we're decorating our tree and looking at the different ornaments of our tree, right, we look at things from different angles, different perspectives, and we respect them. And another beautiful thing is that each ornament is so unique and so different, but when they're all together, right, it just creates a beautiful tree. So it's almost the same thing. So even though Dr. Diaz de Cruz just kind of put out there 5 things for us to keep in mind, right, we can continue putting different ornaments as we are growing, as we're evolving. We start to decorate, collect, you can say, different ornaments in every season. As we're putting up our Christmas tree, right, we can make it just bigger and bigger in this expansive universe. This would be our endless, infinite Christmas tree, friends. So once again, just for us. So remember, in order for us to keep in mind about being healthy, let's look at ourselves constantly, and let's talk about, right, looking at our conflicts with as riches, right? We have our needs are balanced. That's number 2. Number 3 is that, my friends, give me 1 minute, friends. Treat others as an extension of ourselves. Number 4 is to face ourselves and our responsibilities. And number 5, friends, they were on the tree this whole time. And number 5, treat your needs with respect. All right. Yes. All right. Sorry, friends. And I would like to apologize that I am at school today and using different equipment, but we still don't stop spreading the message. We still continue. We move forward, and that's the attitude of anything as we are learning. So hope that today we were able to at least learn one thing that we can put into practice. This is just a reminder. This message was a very simple reminder. All right, friends, let's say our prayer. Dear Mother, Father, God, thank you so much for this beautiful, beautiful day, for this message. And we are asking that you keep us healthy, that we make choices in our lives that are going to maintain us in the frequency and elevate us as we start to grow. We ask the spirits to guide us, that we continue studying, that we continue supporting each other, we continue making decisions that also affect our health physically during COVID times. And we want to ask for everyone out there who is currently dealing with a difficult illness, COVID or non-COVID related, that you heal those bodies, for we know that all of that is coming from a deeper roots inside ourselves. We ask for healing for this planet, and thank you so much for allowing us today to study and create this beautiful tree full of health, and health. Now we ask permission to end this meeting, and so we hit. All right, friends, there are so many amazing shows. Please don't forget to tune in, and God bless.